we've asked our partner associations, Spokane, Benton Franklin, East Side, to come on and give reports of the good things they're doing. But I want to change it up a little bit this time and ask some of our member to kind of do a membership spotlight. So we have some folks here. I wanted to, without further ado, throw it over to Rick Dorr. Rick is a former president of this prestigious group here. He was our president back in 2010. So, and right now he's working for JUB Engineers as a project manager over there. So, Rick, why don't you take it away and tell us all the good work that you're doing out there?
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, I think it's showing the different screen, but that's okay. So, Washington State Good Roads, thanks for having me. I just wanted to share, talk about JUB a little bit without trying to sound like a commercial for JUB. But what I want to focus in on is how we align with Washington State Good Roads and our values and our vision. And so I have the Washington State Good Roads vision and mission statement up here, and it aligns very much with the type of work we do. And so that's what I'm going to highlight. And just a little bit about myself. I am a past member, 2010, president of this organization. Longtime member and participant with ACEC and WashDOT project uh, delivery team, and which a few years ago I passed that on to somebody else. Um, and I was an employee of WashDOT for 7 years before coming to JUB. And this year marks my 35th year at JUB. And in fact, this is my last month. I retire 2 weeks from today. So this will probably be the last meeting I attend on any type of regular basis. But so about JUB, because we're mostly known in Eastern Washington, and have a very big presence in Idaho and Utah and some other states. We have around 560 employees, 23 offices in 7 states. So our main business sectors are surface water, wastewater, land development, and surface transportation, which is, of course, what I'm part of, and aviation. And I've dabbled in aviation as well. So our technical, what we call technical solutions, it basically supports those business sectors, includes surveying, construction management, structures, GIS, electrical engineering is fairly new. We acquired a firm that was very heavy and involved in that, so that added that to our company. And then we do have a couple of subsidiaries. One of them is Gateway Mapping, which is our GIS subsidiary, and then the Langdon Group, which is our like public involvement group. And so they actually do projects independent of JUB as well as working with our company. And then we have a funding group, concentrates on grant applications, those type of things. And of course, planning, environmental. Environmental is a huge part of our business, and landscape architect. And so I mentioned the Transportation Service Group, planning, studies, fundings, everything to do from planning all the way through construction of transportation projects. We pretty much do everything in-house, aside from things like geotechnical engineering. We don't do that. We have some very good subs that we team with on projects. And right of way, although we have some people that are qualified in certain states to do some right of way acquisition, that's typically another area that we will work with subs. So since I have 2 weeks, I get to pick what I get to present. So these are basically my projects, and I couldn't possibly in 5 minutes give you an overview of JUB projects. So these are some important projects, I think that really show some of the safety common uh, goals that we have with our organization. Fleshman Way SR 129 interchange was a great project. It had some really high safety. This before picture in the lower left, there was left turns and lots of accidents. There was a study done, and then when we started the design, I think we looked at about 6 different alternatives. We had a lot of public involvement in that project. And we were having issues trying to get funding for the complete interchange. And then we had kind of a brainstorming value engineering study, and I got to give TIB credit. They attended, and we came up, and DOT as well, and we came up with a solution of, well, why is it that we're replacing the bridge? The bridge really wasn't an issue. And like what Todd was presenting, and this was one of those rare cases where the bridge is fine. So we came up with an alternative, taking the bridge part out of the project and using that money to help us get funding. And TIB stepped up, and we were able to get that project constructed. Another project that I wanted to just touch on, Lewis Street Overpass, recently constructed project in Pasco. And the lower left or lower right shows the before Lewis Street underpass. This replaces an underpass that was built in 1937, I believe. And it's very dangerous. The lanes are very narrow. The pedestrian crossing is extremely scary. So this clicked a lot of buttons on safety, as well as freight mobility. It is actually a freight route, the Lewis Street. So we were able to get, or the city was able to get funding for that, and give them credit. They stuck with that project for a long time, and made it come come together and get the funding. And then the Regional Beltway Connector is a project that we show um, rendering of what it's going to look like. We're building it in 2 phases only because of funding. And all we need is a mere $16 million more, and we can complete that project. So those are some of the projects, the recent projects that demonstrate safe and effective projects, all really great projects, and I'm kind of proud to be part of. And some of the other items I wanted to mention about are how we connect with the communities. Um, Corridor projects, the Keene Road and Bombing Range Road corridors are major corridors in Richland and West Richland. And that was those the Bombing Range Road corridor was constructed in 8 phases, and JEB was involved in every single one of those phases, in design and right of way and environmental and the whole works. And then the I-82 to SR 397 intertie is a 8.5 mile new road that was built in South Kennewick that connects. I'll show a map of it later, but that was an exciting project to be involved in. Not often do you get to build a whole corridor, a brand new highway out in the middle of basically nowhere. And then the 27th Avenue and Union Street roundabout was the first modern roundabout in the Tri-Cities. So we're kind of proud to be involved in designing that for City of Kennewick. And then this is just showing the Keene Road, that old overpass there. Keene Road was actually a railroad corridor that was abandoned. And so the city of West Richland acquired the right of way, as well as Richland, portions in Richland and portion in West Richland for this new corridor. So there's the before, where there was an overpass. Kennedy Road went over the top of the railroad, and down below is the Keene Road after, and the intersection, signal intersection at grade of how it looks today. And then just to give you kind of a scale of the magnitude of these projects I'm talking about, the Keene Road project connects to SR 224, also known as Van Giesen, on the west side, and then down to Gage Boulevard on the southeast portion. And so that was a long corridor that, for the most part, that entire corridor was that abandoned railroad that I took advantage of. And Bombing Range Road starts at Dallas Road, and Dallas slash Keene Road, Kennedy Road, and north up to, again, Van Giesen SR 224. So these projects took years to complete through lots of different phasing, and we're just really proud to be part of those projects that have made such a huge difference for the communities that we live. And then this just shows the magnitude of the 397. It started off, we built it as a county road and then turned it over to the state, and it's as a continuation of SR 397. And it serves as a truck route to the industrial and port area of East Kennewick and Findlay area. And I know I'm going through this somewhat fast. Just some of our shared values is I was trying to demonstrate here is a safe, effective transportation system, and how our projects are demonstrate that, or the projects that we really love to do. And we try to balance the mobility costs and environmental stewardship in every one of those projects. And that is really it. Did I keep it anywhere near 5 minutes?
Hey, at this point, Rick, we've blown the agenda out of the water. It's all right. So
Okay. I just wanted to mention also, when I started with the DOT, I started in the same office as Todd Tripanier. In fact, I think he was there about maybe 6 months before I started. And then I was a temporary one, and then I was promoted or got onto a permanent position with the DOT in the North Central region, where I worked under Keith Metcalf. He was assistant project engineer at the time. So I was lucky enough to work with some of the best people at the DOT. There's lots of people at the DOT. Now that I'm retiring, I just want to take a moment and recognize that I have been very lucky to have a very good career and been involved with a lot of really quality people I really respect.
that's
So
awesome.
that's it.
Well, thanks, Rick. Yeah, thanks for your partnership and the presentation for sure. So we'll move right down the line. Matt Ransom is with the Regional Transportation Council. He's the executive director there. Welcome, Matt. And why don't you go ahead and just take it away?
Yeah, hey, thank you. And I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to share just to show a visual. So, director of the RTC, there's a longer name, Southwest Washington RTC. We're the MPO RTPO designated to serve 3 counties in Southwest Washington. Here is a picture of our members. Those of you familiar with MPO RTPOs, counties, cities, port districts, transit agencies, DOTs. One thing that's unique about RTC, because we are a border community across all 3 counties, is we partner very extensively with Oregon DOT and then the MPO on the Oregon side, referred to as Portland Metro. And we, in fact, have in our board of directors a representative sitting permanently from ODOT and Portland Metro. So our region is a combination of both urban and rural. We spend quite a bit of our time focusing on bi-state projects, specifically bridges, Hood River White Salmon Bridge replacement, interstate bridge replacement, and so forth. And then just broadly correspondence with our Oregon partners and communities. What's unique about MPO RTPOs in Washington State, if you're not familiar, it's a composition, as I noted, of the different agencies, but The law requires also that each member of the legislature whose district coincides with our geography also be ex officio to the board. And so at regular board meetings, we may have participants as they're want to attend and be interested in the conversation. And that occurs quite routinely. And here's just a list of all the members that we have. Another thing that's unique about RTC, not unique to MPOs, our TPOs in Washington State, but the Cowlitz Indian Tribe is a full member of our organization. And lastly, this is a list of our board of directors, currently chaired by a city councilor of the city of Battleground here in Clark County, and the county councilor is vice chair to the board. Just a quick biography for me. So I'm here on behalf of the agency. I've watched the Good Roads Association. I've attended meetings as a guest in the past. I think when you were in Vancouver, I attended a meeting some years back, and have always thought it's a great advocacy organization. So decided to become a member and have the agency enroll and pay its dues. So within the last month, so I appreciate Bill the opportunity to present and introduce myself. Just professional biography. I've been the director here at RTC for well over a decade. Prior to that, I've worked in local government for the city of Vancouver and management functions such as their planning director, transportation department, assistant manager, so on and so forth. And then early in my career, worked for the local transit district here, C-Trans. So have a pretty broad spectrum of experience in different organizations. So that's the professional bio. Lastly, I would disclose for the group on a personal note, I did accept in my, I guess, commitment to public service, Governor Ferguson appointed me to the State Transportation Commission last October. I accepted that appointment to serve a term. I'm not here on behalf of the commission, but as everybody understands, conversations go both ways. So thank you for the opportunity to make an introduction.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah. And thanks for, becoming part of our group, and hopefully, in the future, you can get a little more involved in kind of some of the advocacy work that we're doing that I mentioned and went through those quick slides I did earlier, and kind of a segue into my brother, Scott Holstrom over here. A little background about myself. I am a LIONA member myself. I've been a LIONA member for 25 years. So I kind of bring the worker perspective into things. I was out 15 plus years doing the work of a laborer on a lot of infrastructure projects in and around King County and the western side of the state here. And then I came out of the field and got more into the advocacy side, came into the apprenticeship space and through our training facility, and then got roped into doing more of the political work and advocacy work that I'm doing now. So it's great to meet you. And Brother Holstrom over here, he is our business manager, secretary, treasurer from our local 238 over in Spokane, Washington. But I asked him to come on as a member of the Good Roads and talk to us a little bit. So welcome, Scott.
Well, thank you, Billy. Thank you for all the work that you do. WSGRTA and all the representatives, I appreciate the time. So quick bio, we'll keep it short for time. My name is Scott Holstrom. I'm the business manager, secretary, treasurer of Labor's Local 238 in Spokane. I've been in the construction industry for over 33 years. Worked heavy highway and commercial. I built a lot of your sidewalks, built your roads, your bridges. So elected in 2017 to represent the members. Labor's Local 238 was founded as a hod carrier union in 1887. So we got a long lineage here in Spokane. We cover all the way from Ritzville to the Montana border, Canadian border, and down south by Arpino, Lewiston, those kind of things. That being said, when we first started, about 1906, when the boom in Spokane really started happening, we represented everybody from railroad workers to miners to timber fallers, timber industry and railroad, and hod carriers. With the massive federal investments in the 60s and 90s, we started to branch out, did dams, construction projects, roadways, public and private projects, and we grew to about 3,000 members. We were a huge local back then. It was a big shift for our local. We became more technical. We do 186 different things nowadays. Everything from solar to wind to gas piping, but a majority of what we do over here is commercial concrete, roads, bridges, and work with our signatory contractors. I grew up in Seattle. I know that Seattle's the Emerald City. Back then we called it the Jet City, and Spokane is known as the Lilac City. But we're also known, by another name, the City of Bridges. We have over 20 plus bridges just in Spokane, intersecting the north to the south corridors. Key projects of our funding, obviously we have the north-south corridor that has been funded continuously. We appreciate that. We have quite a few members working on those projects right now. We all understand our investment in the community here. And we also understand that maintenance and preservation is a big part of how we allocate funds. And we appreciate everything that you all have done to help us out over here. But the North-South Corridor is not the only project or the only thing that needs funding in Spokane. It takes big players and big bondings to do those projects. The governor passed the PLA legislation. We just completed that with Cooney. It went smooth. And our message to our members is we're going to use this as a role model to make sure that these projects get done under time, under budget, and done safely. Representative Barks, he hit it on the head. We really need to start looking at what's a priority, right? And bridges to nowhere are not priorities. Sidewalks in the middle of nowhere are not priorities, and how we allocate those funds. And he also hit on, CCA money and taxes. And when we tell our members and ask our members to endorse certain things, we need to see a return on the investment. If we don't see that, then we got to look at doing things a different way. If they're taking it, at the pump and they don't have jobs, or we're not showing them the jobs that it created, those become issues for the local and become issues for our representatives and us as a whole. So I do want to say, the speed zone cameras that got passed is huge, keeping our members safe out there, educating the new drivers of how to, mitigate and drive through construction sites is very important. We put in 4 traffic calming on 395 as of now. We call them traffic calmings. They're roundabouts, right? And I live up there. People are like, this is not a good idea. This is a waste of taxpayers' money. Well, it's not a waste of taxpayers' money. In Deer Park, that was known as what we call Coffin Corner, because there is at least 1 to 2 fatalities a year on 395 there. And since we have installed those traffic calmings with the help of all of you, we have had no deaths on that road at that particular intersection. So it's all good. He also commented on, cutting some of the red tapes. We all know what happened at Bullfrog Road. Cooney and our employers got out there and they went to work. They got that job done under emergency order. And we've also shown in other states that Liona and the building trades and NABTU can go out in Philadelphia on Interstate 95 and, close the bridge down and get a bypass road within 12 days and get that bridge completed quickly and shortly without all the red tape. So, Liona members do a lot of things, and I'm glad to represent them, and I appreciate all the work that everybody does on this board and have. Unfortunately, a lot of our transportation committees have inherited this budget, right? This shortfall, and how we fix it is a complicated issue, but I think in the end we'll get there. So anyway, Billy, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Holstrom. Yeah, we're a big family here in Lina. A little bit, even maybe a little bit about us that you might not know. So we have 6 different locals throughout the state. So Scott's one of the ones in Spokane. We've got Tri-Cities, and then 4 on the west side, right? We got Everett, Seattle, basically Tacoma and Vancouver. So we all work together and we all push together. I think all of our locals are members. If they're not members of Good Roads, I'm going to make sure that they are members of Good Roads. So we're a good, big, happy family. All right. Well, just kind of for sake of time, we're already at 1 o'clock right now. I'm going to kind of skip the open discussion and updates if we don't have anything. If you want to say anything, Ray, throw your hand up or whatever. But just kind of my closing remarks and going to the next meeting that we're going to have in the summertime. We've got reauthorization talks going on right now. A few of us on this call are actually going to be back in DC next week. Talking to our representatives in the state. And I'm sure we're going to relay a lot of the stuff that we're hearing here. At the federal level, we're talking about transportation reauthorization this year. And so that is probably, depending on the time frame of when that's going to work out, we'll probably have that as part of our agenda coming up at our next quarterly meeting. Any interim work that we're going to be working on, if there's anything out there that you're working on in the transportation space that you want the Good Roads to be a part of, please throw it our way. We've got several of us that we can probably fill in different rooms if we need to kind of spread the message. So with that being said, Vic's got his hand up.